Trading inside the AFC West for a receiver that would immediately become the #1 option on this offense is the most aggressive move this front office could make right now, and the argument for doing it is stronger than people realize. The Fernando Mendoza decision is the most important timing call this coaching staff has to make, and getting it wrong could turn everything good about this offseason into a disaster. Kwity Paye just got the deep dive breakdown he deserves, and what it reveals about this defensive front should have Raider Nation genuinely excited. And the cornerback competition just got turned upside down by a 5th-round pick nobody was talking about 2 weeks ago. Stay here with me, Raider Nation. Let's get into the news. The most important decision this coaching staff has to make before this season ends involves Fernando Mendoza, and getting it wrong in either direction could define whether 2026 is remembered as the year this franchise turned the corner or the year they damaged their most important asset before he ever had a real chance. Bleacher Report joined the growing chorus of voices warning against starting Mendoza too early, and the argument they make is genuinely hard to dismiss. The concern is straightforward. Kubiak's offense is complex. The offensive line still has questions. The skill position talent around Mendoza is below average by NFL standards, and Indiana's offense, as impressive as Mendoza was running it, is nowhere near the complexity of what he is being asked to absorb right now at the professional level. Throwing him into that environment before he has fully mastered the system risks doing exactly what nobody in this building wants, which is letting bad habits form before the good ones have a chance to take root. And I think that argument is valid. I really do. Quarterbacks have been ruined by being pushed into situations they were not ready for, and the mental toll of processing an NFL defense while still learning the playbook is not something you can just overcome with talent and work ethic alone. But here is where I push back. Because the other side of this argument is just as real and just as dangerous to ignore. If Kirk Cousins struggles out of the gate against what is a genuinely tough Raiders schedule, the calls for Mendoza are going to get louder with every bad drive. And if Kubiak waits too long to make the switch because he is being overly cautious, he risks the scenario where a rookie who could have been developing in real time spent the first half of his career sitting on the bench watching a 38-year-old quarterback lose games. This team was never going to win anyway. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and Kubiak knows it. He has a sharp eye for quarterbacks. That has been well documented. And the article makes the fair point that fans should probably assume he will make the right call until he gives them a reason to doubt that. But the pressure on this decision is real. Raider Nation feels it, and the margin for error is smaller than anyone wants to admit. Get this right, and everything about this offseason looks like genius. Get it wrong, and the optimism this fan base has been building for months starts to crack faster than anyone expects. Trading inside your own division is always a conversation worth having carefully, but the argument for going after Courtland Sutton from the Denver Broncos is stronger than people are giving it credit for right now, and I want to break it down properly. The Raiders currently have an estimated $82.4 million in cap space. Sutton's base salary for 2026 is just $4.73 million. The projected trade price is a 3rd-round pick and a 5th-round pick in 2027. Let that math land for a second. The Raiders have the most cap space they have had in years. The receiver room still does not have a true physical #1 option on the outside, and the player who could solve that problem immediately is sitting on a division rival's roster for a price that this front office can absolutely afford. Now let me tell you why the football fit makes this even more compelling. Kubiak's offense is built on play action and zone running concepts. For that system to operate at its ceiling, you need a physical receiver on the perimeter who can win contested catches, block on the outside, and command enough respect from opposing defenses to keep them from loading up on Brock Bowers and the interior of this passing attack. Sutton is exactly that player. He is the prototypical X-receiver who gives Kirk Cousins a reliable target on back shoulder throws and contested situations, and who gives Fernando Mendoza the kind of big physical target he thrived with in college at Indiana. And here is the part about Denver that makes this realistic rather than just a fantasy. The Broncos just acquired Jalen Waddle, which changes their offensive priorities completely. Sutton becomes a supporting piece behind a faster, younger receiver in that offense, and his contract balloons to over $28 million in cap impact in 2027. Sean Payton has every reason to listen to a serious offer right now. A third and a fifth in 2027 is the kind of return that makes sense for a team trying to free up future flexibility. Now, I am going to be honest about the risk because it is real. Sutton will be 31 in October, and there are signs of natural physical decline in his vertical game. His contract structure gives the Raiders the ability to renegotiate or cut him in the future with minimal dead cap, which mitigates the long-term exposure significantly. But the short-term upside, a legitimate number one receiver on the outside for a team with $82 million in cap space and a rookie quarterback who needs weapons, is almost impossible to argue against. This is the move Raider Nation has been waiting for this front office to make all offseason. And changing subjects, there is one offseason addition that has not gotten enough attention, and his name is Kwity Paye, the 27-year-old edge rusher who signed a 3-year, $48 million deal with the Raiders in free agency, and who is about to become one of the most important pieces of what Rob Leonard is trying to build on this defensive front. Let me give you the full picture on this player because I think the football argument for what he brings to this defense is genuinely exciting when you understand exactly how it works. Paye comes in at 6'3" and 265 pounds with 74 career starts across 5 NFL seasons, 30.5 career sacks, and a relentlessness that the Raiders have been missing on the edge opposite Maxx Crosby for years. In 2023, he had 8.5 sacks. In 2024, he had 8. His sack numbers dipped to 4 last season, but his pressure numbers were a career high with 23 pressures and 14 hurries in 17 games, which tells you the production is still there even when the sack totals do not fully reflect it. And here is the part that matters most for what Leonard is installing. In the Raiders' 3-4 base defense, Paye lines up as the strong side outside linebacker, which means his job is to force run plays back inside, maintain the edge against tight ends and offensive linemen, and create the kind of outside containment that frees up everyone else around him to make plays. His power, his long arms, and his closing speed make him ideally suited for exactly that role. But the real weapon is what happens when Paye and Crosby are on the field together. Leonard is building a pincer-style pass rush where both edge rushers blitz from their respective outside linebacker spots simultaneously, feeding the quarterback to each other and creating a problem that offensive coordinators cannot solve by sliding protection one direction. You cannot double team both of them at the same time. You have to pick a side and live with the consequences. Add the interior pressure from Nakobe Dean and K. Walker, and suddenly this defense looks like something genuinely dangerous. Defensive coordinator Rob Leonard said it himself when talking about Paye already stepping up to help his new teammates in practice, saying he has learned the most from players and that when they take control and teach the details, that is exactly what you want to see. Defensive line coach Travis Smith backed it up by saying depth is not just a luxury on this defensive front, it is a necessity. Paye is not just a signing. He is the missing piece that makes this entire defensive front make sense. And if you thought the starting cornerback spots on this defense were already decided, think again, because Darien Porter just got put on notice coming out of minicamp, and the player who put him there is a 5th-round pick that nobody was seriously talking about 2 weeks ago. The Athletic Sam Warren broke it down clearly after watching the practices. Porter handled all first-team reps alongside Eric Stokes during OTAs and looked like exactly what John Spytek described when they drafted him, a physical corner poised to take a real jump between year 1 and year 2. But when minicamp arrived, the picture changed. Porter started rotating with 5th-round rookie Hezekiah standing on the sidelines while the rookie took his reps with the first team. That is not a small detail. That is a coaching staff sending a message without saying a word. Now let me be clear about something. Porter is still the favorite to start opposite Stokes. Warren said that directly, and I believe it. but the fact that Maxx has earned first-team reps during minicamp by breaking up passes across multiple sessions and playing with the aggressiveness at the line of scrimmage that Leonard specifically wants from his corners in this attacking scheme tells you that the competition here is genuinely real and not just for show. And here is what makes this secondary conversation so exciting right now when you look at the full picture. Trayden Stukes is already being compared to Kyle Hamilton by his own position coach and running with the first team at multiple positions. German McCoy looked like a first-round talent the moment he stepped on the field before his knee situation sidelined him again. Maxx is making waves as a fifth-round pick who nobody expected to be in this conversation yet. And Stokes is the veteran leader who is actively mentoring every single one of them while playing at a high level himself. This is the most athletically gifted secondary the Raiders have had in years. Every single one of these players is young, hungry, and competing for a spot on a defense that is asking them to play fast and be aggressive from day one. The growing pains are going to be real. Leonard acknowledged that, and nobody is pretending this group is going to be perfect immediately. But the talent in this secondary, combined with the edge pressure that Crosby and Paye are going to generate from the outside, creates a defense that opposing offenses are going to have to genuinely prepare for. And that alone is something Raider Nation has not been able to say about this team in a very long time. Well, Raider Nation, here's what today actually told us about where this franchise is heading. The Mendoza decision is the most important call Kubiak has to make this season, and the margin for error on both sides is real, so trust the process until he gives you a reason not to. The Sutton trade is available right now. The money is there. The need is undeniable, and this front office needs to stop being passive about the receiver room before that window closes. Kwity Paye and Maxx Crosby on the same defensive front is the bookend partnership this defense has been missing for years, and what Leonard is building around them should make every offensive coordinator in the AFC West uncomfortable. And the cornerback competition just proved that this coaching staff is not handing anything to anyone, which means the players who show up in training camp are going to earn everything they get. This roster is not finished. But the direction is real, the competition is real, and the talent being assembled on both sides of the ball is giving Raider Nation something genuine to believe in for the first time in years. Training camp opens in late July. Everything gets decided when those pads go on. Drop your take in the comments. This space belongs to everyone who lives by Just Win Baby and never walked away from the silver and black.